go ahead and get started. Just to introduce myself, my name is Brandon Smith. I'm a corporal with the Banning Police Department and a member of the Banning Police Officers Association Board. With me, I have Corporal Joe Fiola and Sergeant Ray Retch, who's sitting right over here. Just really quick like to thank Mr. Russo for allowing us to use his back room here, and Council members Miller and Franklin for showing up to the event, and also thank all of you for being here tonight. What we really want to do is just give you a couple facts about what's going on with the police department, where we're at as a union, and what our take is on what's going on in the city, public safety wise, and really open it up for questions from you guys so that we can help you be more informed about what's going on. Hopefully we'll be able to answer any questions you have. If we can't, and something we're able to answer, we'll get the answer for you and get back to you. I left the business card on everybody's table. I have some more of them if you need one. If there's a question that doesn't get answered or doesn't get asked and you want to ask it later, go ahead and email me and I'll try and get you an answer to whatever questions you have. First off, I just want to let you guys know where we're at staffing-wise within the department. Right now we have 24 sworn officers from the sergeant rank and below working the streets for patrol and in the detective bureau, not including our 2 lieutenants who are in administration. Of the 24 people that we have currently, 2 of those are out on injury, so we have 22 officers that we're working with to patrol the city of Banning. At any given time, a full shift right now comprises 3 officers and a supervisor, and many of those shifts are working with 2 officers and a supervisor because of staffing levels and not being able to fill that vacant spot on patrol. A lot of guys are working overtime. A lot of us don't complain about it because it is a little bit extra money, but it does get taxing families and life outside of work to have to work overtime when a lot of times you don't want it or you don't need it. So it is becoming a strain on some of the guys in the department. It is becoming a safety issue for the officers that are working, not having backup available at any given time from within our own department, and for public safety in general, for citizens and businesses in the city having to respond to calls. I'm sure you can imagine with just 2 officers and a sergeant, or 3 officers and a sergeant working, having incidents happen simultaneously on both ends of the city, it's very difficult to deal with just our department. We thankfully have Beaumont next door, Riverside Sheriff's Department, and California Highway Patrol, who we do call on occasionally and quite often for assistance when we need to send more than 1 officer to a certain call type, just for officer safety purposes. The number 24, I've been here for just under 5 years. We were at about 35, and I believe at our peak, in about 06, 07, we were at 44 officers. So a city of roughly 30,000 people, right now we're at less than 1 officer per 1,000 population. When you look at what the ideal statistics would be for officers, the FBI puts out stats for that. You're looking at anywhere between 1.2 and 1.5 officers per 1,000 for what the average is, or they don't recommend it, they don't make a recommendation, but what the average for a population of our size for our city. With the exception of the numbers dwindling, it's also removing certain services from our department. We've lost our traffic bureau, we've lost our narcotics canine, that hasn't been replaced since that dog retired. Our detective bureau is understaffed. It puts a strain on not only patrol, because patrol has to now handle a lot more, but on the detective as well. With major crimes and things have to be prioritized in order to make sure that the high priority crimes are investigated the way they should. I don't know where everybody lives demographically in the city, or who business owners in the city, but we like to respond to all the calls in a timely manner. And unfortunately, because of staffing levels, a lot of times we have to prioritize and calls pending because of the severity of the crime or what may or may not be happening within the city with other officers, what they're involved in. Something else we'd like to talk about and open up is our new, or the perspective of the new chief that will be coming in here. We don't know who that's going to be. We don't know who those candidates are going to be. Right now, as an association, we want and would like to see obviously the best candidate for the position be hired. We want all that are qualified for the position to be able to apply for it and for it to be a fair process. We've been invited to be included in the hiring process of the new chief as a panel interview for that process. And we'd like to just make sure that the qualifications that are set for that remain the same and that we aren't lowering standards to bring someone in. I can open it up for questions now. This is mainly for a question and answer. We want people to be able to ask questions, and we want to try and answer everything we can. If we can't talk about it, or is it something we are something that is within our scope, we'll let you know. And if you have a question, feel free.
Yeah, Roger Smith, Sun Lake. The previous chief, who I'm acquainted with, was very slight on hiring volunteers. Well, I was a volunteer with the Highway Patrol, and I thought it was very successful. What's our position now with volunteers?
I know they do have a volunteer program. I don't know the numbers of how many volunteers are a part of that program. I believe we have a volunteer coordinator here.
Right now we have 11, but we have some of those people that have jobs, so it's kind of scarce at this point. We're hoping they go on a real, excuse me, recruiting drive here real quick.
For those in the back, the question was how many volunteers we have now for the department, and we currently have 11 volunteers.